Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm Coach G. I'm wishing you a good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're well. And welcome to the Miserable Teacher Forum on YouTube. I am Georgette Green Hadnett. I am the teacher thought leader of the teacher empowerment leader of the Miserable Teacher Forum on Facebook. And I'm glad that you are here today. I invited my tribe to come and join me here live in the studio and doing something different. I am on vacation and I typically go live 3 Saturdays a month in the Miserable Teacher Forum on Facebook. And this would be the first Saturday morning of the month that I would go live. And we typically go through a topic that is important to those teachers that are as part of the community. And today I decided I'm just going to go live on my YouTube channel. It's good to have you joining. I don't know where you might be joining from. I don't know if you're a teacher. I don't know if you're an administrator. I don't know what led or called you to join today, but I'm glad you're with me. I yes. So I'm going to be using my phone to try to keep up with what's going on, and I'm excited to be with you this morning. So if you don't know, the Miserable Teacher Forum started a long time ago. God gave me a message. It just kept bothering me with the idea of Confessions of a Miserable Teacher. And what I had no idea was that from that point to today, I would step out not on faith, but on obedience and create this community on Facebook and have launched it here in January of this year here on YouTube. So if it's your first time getting to know me, there is content available to you. But today is more about you. It's about you because it is July. We are embarking on the middle of July in the United States. That means that there are some teachers that are gearing up to go back into their schools come within a few days or a few weeks. Some of those instructional leaders are heading in probably on Monday or Wednesday of the coming week. Some will be going to school, going to work, going to set up their classrooms, that whole process of beginning the school year. And then we know that as we move up the East Coast, even on West Coast, because I am from the East Coast, we know that as time goes on, schools will begin to return back leading up to Labor Day. So I thought it appropriate to just throw myself out here and offer my years of experience, my expertise, my what I love to call as my faith journey as an educator. And so here we are. I have my phone with me, so I'm going to be looking at my phone just so that I'm not missing anyone. Let me see. Live chat. And as I've begun this journey of creating this channel, of creating the Miserable Teacher Forum, it reminds me so much of being a teacher. How you might have all the best laid plans in place, and sometimes it just doesn't go. And then sometimes you'll have an idea, and you'll say, let me give that a whirl. And that idea works, it sticks. And so I'm going to silence my phone, and I'm just trying to keep up with any chats that are going on because I don't want to miss that. But I do want to allow opportunities for people to ask questions about balancing the competing demands of being a teacher. And when we say competing demands, we know that those demands include managing yourself. I'm going to call that self-care and self-intention. We're going to also talk about your work, your faith, your family, and your friends. And so I'm open to whatever questions you have. And if you don't have questions, I'm going to just throw some ideas out there to help give you some ideas of how you can navigate. And I'm going to do that by taking some tips from some of our earlier, I'm going to call them lives in our Facebook community. So in January, we talked about walking by faith and not by sight. Now, let me back up a little bit. I'm a woman who lives a life as a Christian. And in this community that I've curated, we are amplifying messages that will allow you to walk by faith in your journey as a teacher, but most importantly, to realign your priorities to live the life that you desire. So in January, we talked about walking by faith and not by sight. And in focusing on both 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and 7, as well as Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1, and then verses 11 through 16, we talked about running your race, okay? In Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1, it talks about running your race, and it says to walk worthy. So when we think about managing or balancing, whatever word you want to use regarding your the competing demands of being a teacher, walk your race. Walk your race. We know that we have been given gifts and talents and abilities that we can put into practice. God gave those to us. And so for some, that's managing resources, that's managing money, that's managing time, that's managing people, that's managing the affairs of the family. And so if that's your gift, work with it. If you find that in your attempts to walk worthy, you get weary, it's no surprise, because just as you try to walk on a trail, walk on a treadmill, without the proper electrolytes, hydration, without the proper food, without what you need, you will be challenged in that walk. So I'm encouraging you, as you walk worthy, that you are sure that you're preparing yourself for that journey, which for me involves seeking God, making time to meditate and to prepare for what it is that He has for me in my journey, and also to run the race that has been given to me. You see, there are times in life where we might look at other people, look at other people's journey, look at other people's situation, and feel that it's something that, I think I could do that. I think I want to do that. But if that's not your calling, if that's not what you're intended to do, if you are not the person that is very creative, don't put the intentions of trying to set up a bulletin board with all kinds of things that you may not have skill, time, or abilities to do. If you're the person that wants to start a YouTube channel, you shouldn't try to do it because of other people or the way you see other people do it. You should do it your own way. So, how can you manage the competing demands of being a teacher? Run your race. So that's a tip I'm going to share with you from January in the Miserable Teacher Forum on Facebook. Okay, I'm going through. I also want to encourage you that we just talked about calling, God's calling on our lives. And this is not something that you can take lightly because we did not create ourselves. Then we also cannot determine what our gifts are. There are times that other people can say, you are so gifted or talented in that. But the nurturing of those gifts that God gave us comes from Him. And if He's given it to you and you haven't been nurturing and cultivating it, ask Him who, ask Him how, ask Him when, so that He remains the one to get the glory. So you might notice, I actually said in January we talked about those topics. In January, we talked about 7 signs God is calling you. And I referenced an article that I got from Lori A. Hatchett. And she outlined these 7 steps that are, 7 signs God is calling you. So when we talked about having the race that you're running and you have gifts, talents, and abilities, think about looking at that article and looking at the YouTube videos that we have on God's calling on your life, determining what is your calling. Okay, I'm moving, I'm jamming, I'm moving. So in February, we talked about my favorite scripture. And if I'm remembering correctly, we talked in February about dread. And my favorite scripture is 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 7. I'm saying the wrong verse. 2 Timothy chapter 2. I will put it in the description. But God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. And so each day, those 3 Saturdays in February, we talked about power, love, and a sound mind. So how are you by faith able to manage the competing demands of being a teacher? It is by remembering that what God has already given us. He has given us a spirit. He has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. One of my favorite books is by Gary Chapman. It's called The 5 Love Languages. And it talks about these acts, these different ways that people can show love one to another. And if you've ever read his books, he started as a marriage counselor. And he refers to these 5 love languages: acts of service, physical touch, quality time, receiving gifts, and words of affirmation. I feel like these are things that we could put in our tool chest to help us to manage the competing demands. There are times when you need words of affirmation, but there are times you need to offer words of affirmation to your students, to your leaders, to your colleagues, to the families that you serve. There are times that you hope and wish to receive gifts, but then there are times when you need to give gifts. You know what that is. It doesn't mean that you need to always be the giver of gifts, but there are times that you might be able to give your gifts of time, your gifts of presence, like physically being present for someone. That might be your children, that might be your partner, that might be your neighbor. And so giving gifts can be something tangible, but it could also be giving an aunt, or uncle a phone call, an old friend from high school. Those are some of the ways that you could do that. Then we talk about quality time. Please. I started this stream by talking about taking care of yourself. I should say I put that in my title. Taking care of yourself is really, really important. And quality time with yourself is really important. If you've never done it before, I encourage that you do that. Find ways. You can start with a 5-minute mindfulness meditation. You can increase that time. You can decide you're going to go to lunch by yourself. You're going to go to a movie by yourself. You're going to go find a place to read a book. So in Gary Chapman, he's talking about things that you can do with your partner, quality time. Give yourself some quality time. This is the first time I have traveled internationally and stayed by myself. It's been such a great experience. And what I'm noticing is while I'm at this wonderful resort, all these things going on, I've been having to tell myself to leave the room. Why? I've been enjoying some quality time. And if you don't get some of that, if you're constantly giving and serving others, then you begin to lose your sense of self and you begin to harbor feelings, have unmet expectations. Just so much can go on. So while quality time with a partner is really important, I'm encouraging you to have quality time with yourself. Physical touch. Now, this is so important in a relationship, especially as a teacher. There's so many rules around physical touch, and the rules are to safeguard children, and the rules are to safeguard adults. But it is so important to be able to cheer for a student, to be able to touch their shoulder and encourage them. Well done, good job, high five, fist bump. Like these are elements of physical touch that you can incorporate into your work. But it's also what you need to do for your family. You get to do this. It's free. A smile, a hug of your children, your spouse, given opportunities to have maybe one-on-one dates. Don't, I don't want to say this. Don't assume that you have time, that there's more time. Your family is your first priority. And in the work of a teacher, it can get muddled, and you start to show love and care and concern for all of those in front of you. But if you're not paying attention and showing love to your family and to your children, you may cause more harm than you've ever anticipated. So think about that. Acts of service. I think the work of a teacher is a total act of service. But I think it's also important for us to know that we need to serve home first. You know what that means for your family. It's not just about chores. It's all the things that I just mentioned. Serving their heart, serving their mind, serving their spirits. God is that servant to me, I feel, always available to be a listening ear, always available to comfort, always there to give peace, willing to forgive, willing to offer words of insight through the Bible. So when we're talking about acts of service, think about taking care of yourself. Then think about taking care of your family, your loved ones, taking care of your community. Then taking care of your church, being a contributor, being an active financial contributor so that missions and work and support can be offered around the world. But also being a physical contributor, whether it be you're on the prayer team or you serve as a worship leader, you have a gift of in talent, you're a musician, you're a great cook, you love working with children, you have financial resources to be able to fund some things. So acts of service can be in those ways as well. And that is, for the most part, the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman. And I'm going to use that as our feature from February. I feel as though when we talk about balancing the competing demands of work, I also want to encourage you to clear blurred vision. We talked about this in March. And when you're clearing blurred vision, it is in order for you to be able to have insight and direction into where you're aiming to go. Now, I don't want us to get to presume that all of these things that I'm saying are self-guided. They are being led, we're being led by God. We're being led by God in how we're going to move. We're going to seek Him first and His righteousness in all things. And we know that all things will be given to us. And that's from Matthew chapter 6, verse 33 NIV. So we're not saying in and of yourself, you just do your own thing, get your, we're saying seeking God's guidance as you hope to clear your blurred vision. Oh my, I just enjoyed the March topics oh so much. I'm not even going to get into it. I'm going to encourage you. Some of these we've already posted live in on YouTube. But if you haven't come to our channel before, we have many videos that can offer you insight and support as you are preparing your heart, your mind, your spirit, your time, your soul to get back to next school year. Now, there are some of you who are still unsure about even, oh my God, do I go back? Where do I go back? How do I go back? I want to just encourage you to clear your blurred vision. Ask God for guidance in what your next step should be. You might have desire to return, but maybe you're not prepared physically or mentally to return. So allow yourself time, allow yourself permission to unload some of the things that challenged you last academic year so that you can prepare your heart, soul, spirit, mind, and body for the upcoming school year. So I just wanted to come on and offer opportunities for people to ask questions. And since we did not see questions in the chat, I hope that you will leave questions as you watch the replay of this video. You can reach out to me through the YouTube channel. You can reach out or seek to join us on Facebook. Our community is the Miserable Teacher Forum on Facebook. I'm on Instagram at Coach G Live. And most importantly, I will pray that what you've heard here at least gives you something to get you going and to get a sense of what God has for you and how you will prioritize and realign the life that you desire to have as a teacher. So best wishes, God bless you, and make sure to enjoy some of this wonderful summer. Bye-bye.